everybody, and welcome back to the Dad AF podcast. I am that dad, Mike. Welcome back to another week, everybody, and it is a special one because this week I have nothing to talk about. No, I'm just kidding. I had planned to talk about some more serious content, and I actually had someone who was going to possibly come on the podcast, but they couldn't make it because, plans, anniversaries, and all that hullabaloo. So those plans fell through, but their loss is our gain, everybody, because those plans fell through. Very special thing happened. The wife decided to join us finally on the podcast. So we aren't even going to do news stories today. We're not going to talk about anything that happened over the week because this is just too special an occasion. So again, without further ado, you know her, you love her. In just a minute, you know you love her more than me. It's the wife.
Hi.
Say hello to all your adoring fans.
Hello, adoring fans.
All the fans that
Thank you for adoring me. I appreciate it.
don't do any work. I do all the work.
I do all the work. Let's be real.
You do all the work.
Except for laundry.
Oh, we're talking about that work. Okay. Well, we'll let that one go. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for being my first guest on my podcast and speaking here, reaching my tens of fans that listen to me each week.
Tens of fans are important.
Tens of fans, right. My fans are important.
You're all lovely.
They're all lovely. All lovely, smart-ass people. And just to prove that, today I asked you guys to give me some topic, give me something to ask the wife since she's going to be here. And, well, I won't say you all didn't fail me. Some of you, I don't know what the heck you were thinking. But that's okay. I'll leave you alone on that today. But let's just get into it. There's some interesting questions here. We'll just start off right off the bat with our old buddy, Uncle Mark.
Oh, yes. Hi, Uncle Mark.
Uncle Mark wants to know when we're moving back to San Diego.
I'm expected to have answers. We don't know. That's my answer.
Welcome to married life, Mark. No clarity in answers.
I do miss how pretty it is. I really do.
That's putting it mildly.
The weather, the beach.
Everything that isn't here. I mean, it's just amazing.
Yeah. It's a beautiful place, and I like living in beautiful places. Makes me happy.
Yet here we are.
I think DC is beautiful. And
you think DC? In what way?
Well, I really love. Still, I mean, we've been here for 8 years,
9 years.
9
now.
years.
It'll be 9 years this year.
And
it was last year.
And I still love seeing all the monuments. I love driving along the National Mall.
Okay.
Part of me wishes we lived downtown so I could be one of those, like, joggers that... I mean, but who are we kidding? I really wouldn't jog. But it just looks... I don't know. There's something kind of majestic about it, even whether you agree with what's happening in politics or not. Like, it's still these impressive buildings that represent something, and especially at night, they're also really beautiful.
That is one thing I will give, and I think I've said that several times in the amount of time we've been together. It's one thing, the big difference to me for the East Coast and the West Coast is that on the East Coast, in Boston, where we spent most of our time when we first were together, and here in DC, it's like these buildings have been here, for umpteen amount of years, and the history is clearly there. You see it. It cracks me up, like in Boston, that you see these old buildings that are just beautifully built and there's stonework and everything, and then there's just randomly like a Dunkin' Donuts in there. Mm-hmm. But out in California, they would literally just put like a box, it just seems like something was just built right there on the spot for whatever it is they wanted to put in there. And it feels that way, and I've seen San Diego change so much even since we left, and it still feels that way. It still feels like it's just cookie cutter, like their buildings are not... there's no history. It doesn't feel like there's history there, which I know there is, but...
Yeah, I think some of it is cookie cutter. There are some areas that I really like. And I think in Old Town, you actually get kind of a flavor of some of the history in San Diego, and it's just a different history that not a lot of people know about, I don't think.
Yeah.
But I think the sort of movement of people traveling out west and like settling is really interesting to me, and it's something I actually want to learn more about.
Like
Just
the
like
Oregon Trail?
No, we're not talking about dying of dysentery, but like people who went, go west, young man. Like there's all this opportunity and there's land, and it was craziness for a while as people made their way. Like they were literally building train tracks and going out west. So I'd be interested in learning more about that.
There's a good TV show about that. It's called Hell on Wheels. Well, it was good. It was good for one season, then it just completely tanked.
Oh.
Anyway, now that we've probably bored people to death with our history talk.
There's nothing boring about history. I'm a nerd.
Well,
I like it.
I do too. But, all right. Anyway, so here's one that we probably will argue to the end of time on. It's like, which one of you is more tired and why? And who has it easier, moms or dads?
Well, I'm more tired.
How do you figure you're more tired?
Because I want to sleep all the time.
I do too. So, but how do you figure you're more tired than me?
Because I say that I want to sleep all the time, and you don't. Therefore, the perception is that you are not as tired as I am.
Someone's got to get shit done, right?
You do a good job with laundry.
That's it? That's where I get my 1 gold star, laundry?
No.
Clearly I'm not doing a great job on folding it. It's been down here for about a week. Although you have no... I mean, we should probably just not comment on this. So,
No.
I don't know. I mean, who has it easier, moms or dads? I don't think anybody has it easier, really. I mean, unless you're gonna get all into the stereotypical. I don't know. Is it stereotypical? Can you say that now, or do you think it's still the norm?
What?
Probably what everybody's thinking. What you're thinking, that dads probably have it easier.
Yeah, I mean, I do think dads have it easier, but it's something I definitely would want to like really think more about. But if you're just asking me off the cuff here, I think dads do have it easier. I mean, there are individual families where I think the dad does or the partner, right,
Sure.
does, their quote unquote fair share of work. Like, it seems like duties are split and whatever. But I know we had talked about this a while back. There was an article, a piece that came out that really resonated with me, and it was about the hidden burden of like kind of the household management piece of women having to think about things. Like a lot of dads or partners, like they don't have to invest their time thinking like, okay, I've got to write this check for daycare, or I've got to, I got to plan the groceries because I know we have this in the fridge and we don't have this. And for me, that's actually a lot of the extra stuff. And for me, it's not so hidden. And I feel that I do take on that burden. Or if it comes to planning a vacation, like some of it is on me if I take it on myself. But I also wonder, like, what if I didn't do anything? Like, would it get done? Or would you look to me to be like, well, have you started anything?
Right.
Kind of thing. And so I think there's that underlying piece that makes it harder on, and I'll say moms, but it's kind of like, it's probably whoever is the stay-at-home parent, honestly, because they have, or whoever is like home more, because you have your finger more on the pulse of the actual household and how to manage it. So I think in that way, dads have it easier.
Well, I mean, would it be fair to say that instead of saying the dads have it easier in that way, that it's actually that the perception is instead of the actuality? Because, I mean...
No, I think in actuality, dads have it easier.
I don't know. I think that's...
I think there are other... If we're only talking about that factor,
okay.
I think dads have it easier in actuality. If we're talking about other things, I mean, there's certainly a lot of other things to consider, which is why, I mean, this can turn into more of like...
Sure.
A complicated debate, but I think in other areas dads have it harder than moms, And so, it's pluses and minuses. And
I guess where I was getting at with that is that it's just, I just think it's a huge assumption to, especially with the way how roles are changing now. Especially, I mean, you've seen that just with the things I'm attending, the things I'm doing, the groups I'm part of, like in my blogger groups and stuff, and all these dads that I work with and stuff, brands that I work with. I mean, you see how like roles of dads are changing. Like they're, the stay-at-home dad, the stay-at-home parent being the dad, and of course we're strictly talking, heterosexual, couples, obviously. In that instance, it's increasing like a lot over the last, decade or so. I mean, a bunch of, they literally have an at-home dads conference now. That's how large this kind of movement is. This kind of like recognition, and so to just say like that you firmly in actuality think you have it easier just in that one section from that article. I don't know. I just kind of feel like that's a large assumption that it still falls on the mom, no matter what, or I don't know. It just makes this large assumption that like men aren't involved in these decisions, like paying bills or planning vacations and stuff like that.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that dads are not involved.
Okay.
My point is addressing who has it easier, moms or dads, and I think dads have it easier. Whether it's by a small margin or a large margin, there are circumstances which, of course, the mom's going to have it easier. But if we are looking at, in general, society,
okay,
dads have it easier.
Okay. I'll agree with that in there. I mean, societal-wise, more of the macro view. How do you handle the exhaustion of your job and having your children at home? Well, not to take away from them, but like our kids aren't.
God, no, I could never stay at home with my kids.
No.
That was Ashley's comment.
I know.
And I responded to her, and I said, I don't handle it well. But because I really don't. Like, winter break broke me entirely.
Which I was surprised, because you seemed almost oddly excited about winter break this year with our son. And I was like, are you kidding me?
I was, and then it was when our daughter started coming home. And then
again, by surprise.
And then everything broke.
Yeah.
But no, it's so I own a couple of businesses, and I do a lot of things, and our son, is in kindergarten, so he's in school for most of the day. It's a full day thing, and then our daughter's in full-time daycare. So the blessing that we have is we get to drop her off, at like 7:30 in the morning and pick her up at 5:30 in the afternoon. So I have about 5 to 6 hours during the daytime that I have here at home to like get my work done and stuff. It's certainly not enough. I mean, owning my businesses, I could be doing things all the time, and if you really break it down, if I'm doing household things, it's not 5 hours that I have to work. And so I'm always feeling like I'm running behind and always playing catch up. And it's hard for a type A person like me who wants to try to get things done.
But also wants to sleep.
Napping is important. Well, I'm really trying to pay more attention to my body and how I'm feeling, and paying attention to what I think are some of my needs. And sometimes if I'm falling asleep at the computer, that's my body's way of telling me that I need to rest. And so then I go do that. And it's an absolute luxury to be able to do that because I work from home. I tend to go to yoga classes during the day because we're prioritizing you going to the gym at night and like the kids having some activities. And so sometimes I end up working late at night, like after bedtime. And
right.
So, but I don't mind it because I love it. It's just scattered all over the place.
Sure.
But
It's
I do like this lifestyle very much, though.
The working from home or the...
I like all of it. I like having all the flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
I like being my own boss. I like being creative. And because being creative is exciting for me, it doesn't feel like a chore. It doesn't feel like work.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I'm designing a t-shirt at 9 o'clock on a Tuesday night, I'm in it. And I'm like, this is awesome and this is fun. Like, I think of it more as fun, not this is soul-sucking work.
Right.
So there are definitely pieces of work that are like that, but I very much like being able to meet up during the day for coffee with another yoga teacher or, you know, with a birth worker colleague or something, and having the flexibility to do that. So I like it.
And by the way, the nap comment was just from earlier. It was a joke from earlier when you were like, I want to sleep all the time.
I do.
Okay, I know. So it was just kind of funny. Be like, it's like you. I felt like you took it seriously.
Well, I do like to sleep. I don't like napping though. I like to sleep.
I know. You always complain.
I feel like shit when I
disrespect napping.
Should I not use
you can
that
cuss.
language?
No, it's all right. But thanks a lot. Now I have a bad language mark on iTunes. Thanks a lot.
No, I'm sorry.
Can't take this lady anywhere, people. Fuck it.
Sorry.
All right. All right. So let's do something that maybe might be a little funnier.
You should have warned me.
About what? You cuss? I don't. It's fine.
Okay.
When don't we? Don't be cleaning up for the podcast if we don't. This is how we talk. This is who we are. No, seriously. Actually, okay. So we'll get to the funny one in a second. I want to actually ask you this because I like this one a lot. My friend Kate said, "What is your favorite thing about yourself?"
Oh, man, that's a good question. Let's see. Right now, in this moment in my life, I think my favorite thing about myself is that I'm willing and happy to show who I am more.
Mm-hmm.
Because before, it was always, like, I'm a minister's kid, and so you sort of play a part, and you don't really show who you are to people, and I didn't know who I was because of all of that. And so now that I'm kind of coming into my own thing, I really like that I feel comfortable doing that more.
Follow up on that is like, what's one thing you wish you could change about yourself?
My boobs. They're too large.
No such thing. But no, I hear what you're saying.
They give me back problems. So
I'm just kidding. I totally understand.
They're problematic.
I will miss them, but I also understand. I know you're pop culture deficient because you grew up in a very sheltered childhood, but did you ever hear the movie Bill and Ted?
I knew of it. I did not see it.
Do you know what it's about?
No.
We're not even going to get into that.
No, because...
You're going to ruin that for me.
Or you might ruin it for me, because when you plot summarize, it's more like you read the whole script to me.
You trying to say I talk too much?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was referring to you were going to ruin it for me as in my happy memory. I don't know what that's about. Well, that sounds stupid. Which one of my tattoos do you wish I had never gotten? Actually, let me tell you, for every information I have, what do I have, 7 tattoos? I guess 8, if you count the one that's pretty much gone now, for the most part. But so I have one that I literally, in order, one that I picked off the wall when I was 19, on my shoulder, because I thought I was badass, and I got a tribal tattoo on my arm. I have a tiger's head on my right arm. Some more tribal stuff on my right calf. Following the theme of thinking what a badass I am, I have my last name on my stomach because, I'm hard like that. That's completely unfinished because I wussed out and it hurt like hell and I stopped because I was going to cry. I probably did cry anyway. And I have almost gone, but I have my mom's name on my back shoulder blade, and then my most recent one, the feather on my forearm with the saying and the semicolon.
Yeah.
So excluding the easy one, obviously, my mom's. What other one would you? Oh, and I have the stars on my chest. I forgot that. I still have my nautical stars on my chest. So I did math, so I don't know how many that is. But anyway, which one do you wish I had never gotten?
I would probably say the one on your stomach.
Why? Just because?
Well, I think because it's not finished. Like it doesn't look finished.
I mean, it's not like it's oddly unfinished. I mean, it's the outline. I mean, you can literally read it.
Are you not receiving this well?
No, I'm fine. I'm just curious why.
You're gonna get us in a fight. Whoever asked about this.
Patty.
Patty.
I'm not even gonna try to. Patty Sims.
Well, yeah. I mean, if I had to choose one, it would probably be that one or the tribal one there on your arm.
The very first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just doesn't do anything.
It doesn't do anything for you.
For anyone.
I think that would be up there too for me. I probably would still have got the one on my stomach, but I might have got it somewhere else instead of my stomach, like maybe just on my back or something.
Yeah.
'Cause I still like it. But this one, yeah, definitely the one on my left arm, the tribal one, and then the one on my leg. So just 'cause
I like the color of that one though.
I do too. It makes no sense because it just never really finished. It was just kind of like my buddy drawing me. So anyway, all right, let's. Oh, here's a little layup one here from your buddy Allison. How do you handle me?
That is not an easy one.
Oh, really?
This is so not a slam dunk. This could cause a major argument
It could.
in our household.
It could.
We might have to take this one to therapy. There are a lot of times that I don't handle you very well.
I mean, I think that's easy to say for both of us, though. Like we don't handle each other. We don't even handle ourselves very well sometimes.
No, I don't even know how to deal with myself, so I can barely deal with you or the kids. It's so serious though. Like,
can you guys feel the love? By the way, this is marriage right here. This is the real stuff.
Well, it is because 36 years. No, I'm 37. How old am I?
Whatever. You be what you want to be.
I'll be.
I think you're 37.
Yeah, I'm 37. But it took 35, 36 years to finally realize that I am a highly, highly sensitive person. I have pretty bad anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just learning all of that. And so it's like I'm relearning myself and how to even handle myself and learning oh, well, when I've always felt this way, now that I feel it this way now, I know that it's a panic attack. So I know what I can do. Whereas before, it was just it felt like something was wrong with me every time something happened. And so it sounds funny, but I can really only barely deal with myself because I'm a lot. And then Mike is also a lot in similar ways, and then our son is the worst explosive combination of us both. I mean, he's amazing, and
he's literally the perfect storm.
He is just the perfect emotional storm of us, and so his stuff is almost like a trigger for me, because I see so much of myself when I was a kid in him, and so I actually don't handle it very well right now, but I feel like I'm learning, I'm learning skills, and I'm getting more tools to be able to, both help regulate myself better, which in turn will help me handle, in quotes, you guys better. But there's a lot of me being I need a break, and I'm going upstairs, because it's so much noise and just overstimulation, and like I can't. I'm like, I just can't.
I'll be honest with you, lately I think I've learned with the whole break thing, like that for the longest time, and even sometimes now, it's like, you question, like, what the hell? Like, why can't you hack it? Like, why can't you do this? Like, why can't you, just fucking knock it out, like, right now, and then we can go relax later. But I'm starting to wonder, I've actually started to wonder this lately, is that, like, I'm wondering if, and somehow, subconsciously, like, I'm doing that to myself. Like, I'm blocking myself from taking breaks. Because I'm like, I just got to do this. Or if there's, like, somebody's got to handle this, and so she's leaving, or even if we're both there, though, and there's no idea that someone's going to go take a break, and I'm just, like, somehow still blocking myself, almost like self-sabotage. You get where I'm coming from with that?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. All right. I thought there was going to be a more funny answer to that one, but that's okay. I think truth is...
What would you like?
Truthiness is good, too.
I speak the truth.
Do you feel like you parent different between kid 1 and kid 2?
Yeah. But I think it's because the kids are different. Like, I don't...
It's also hard because one's 18 months old, the other one's 6, so...
Well, yeah, but when I look back at how I was about certain things with number 1 and number 2, I'm like, I don't care. Like, whatever.
Exactly.
Like, you're walking around with a snack in your hand. Like, oh, well.
Although we still get on him for that, too. We're like, sit down! It's like, but then...
Well, he's, like, running with food in his mouth. I mean, that's a little different, but... Like, if she's just creating a mess or, like...
Oh, my God.
If she's throwing... Here's where, actually, I'm finding a lot of my differences. Is that I have a lot more tolerance for the tantrum stuff. Because I learned from the first kid... the purpose, like, why kids throw tantrums, basically. And I just wasn't in an emotionally good enough place to handle that. And so now I am, and I just kind of think it's all fucking hilarious. Like, the thing she does, I'm like, that is hilarious. And you're like, no, it's not. And I'm like, yeah, it is.
Sometimes I do, but sometimes I don't. Like, sometimes I just don't have it. Like, the thing when she throws food on the floor, like, that...
I don't care. I think it's hilarious the way that she, like, gives you the stare down and holds her arm out like a threat and then just drops it. I mean, it's so hard to not laugh.
It's hard to not do something, but I ain't gonna say that. So,
because, I mean, I'm like, it's... At the end of the day, it's food on the floor. Like, whatever. And with it, it was different.
True. All right. Well, I guess that kind of leads into a question from longtime fan Nicole, deciding to go for number 2 after dealing with postpartum depression.
Dude. Mm-hmm.
Like, what? What? I know it wasn't a one-person rodeo here, but like, what led you to that decision and, like, to be okay with it? I mean,
yeah.
After such a hard road.
That's a really good question. And Nicole, if you are actually, in this kind of a situation, I have a book for you, so you can reach out to us and I can give you a resource if you are curious about that, like for your personal experience. But I remember, so with our son, my postpartum lasted for a really long time, also because I didn't know that I had basically generalized anxiety disorder. Like, this is part of what I've learned over the last year is I've always had anxiety, but I never knew it. And so, looking back, it lasted for so long. And he was going to be an only child for a very long time because we were like, we can't handle this. Yeah. And I remember reading an article somewhere about, reasons why you should have a second child, or like the only reason why you should have a second child. Like, it's not about giving your child a playmate. It's not about giving your parents another grandchild. Like, all of those are extraneous reasons. And this article hit home with me because it's like the one reason that you should have another child is if you feel like there is something missing in your family, that your family is not complete. And I think for a long time we were just so overwhelmed. We couldn't even, I mean, it didn't feel complete, but not in like a something is lacking. It was just like, this is fractured in a way.
Yeah.
And so then when he was about 3-ish, I think is when we finally started feeling like, okay,
Yeah,
like
maybe we are doing okay.
well, yeah, it felt like we were doing okay. We were, in like a rhythm. We were sort of doing better individually, sort of as a couple, ups and downs and stuff. But like, I was kind of like, I feel like there's something, like we're not quite complete. And so, and not that he's not wonderful, but
No, yeah, it was no glaring on him.
it just felt like there was something that hadn't completed our family unit yet. So, yeah, but it was very scary. And then when I first found out I was pregnant, I did not handle it well because I was terrified right away. And I also felt like shit for 16 weeks, 24/7.
I lost my job.
Yeah, it was a great time. But I had so much anxiety about postpartum depression again. And I had anxiety about like getting the right amount of sleep and doing the right things and taking care of myself. So like the things that should have helped with my anxiety actually gave me anxiety because I was like, I need to do these things. And so that kind of changed once I started feeling better.
Yeah.
But I was really scared that first trimester. I was really scared. But at the same time, it's like, well, this is happening. And so at some point, I have to just let this go. And it's going to be what it's going to be. It might happen and it might not.
It did.
And it did.
Oh, it happened.
It was different, though.
Yeah. I will say, though, at least from my point of view, and I feel like we've talked about this before, but I feel like from my point of view, at least one thing that was different was that after the 16 weeks, obviously, because that was horrible for you, obviously, I felt like we were a lot closer during that pregnancy, during number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Communication, just being involved in it. I'll put that one on me. Being more involved, closer to, the whole bonding process. But touching your belly and talking to your belly and stuff. And obviously our son was doing the same thing. And so that was good for me. So at least. All right. Well, I think we have time for one last one. So, one of the followers wasn't really a question. There was a reference to the song that I referenced in the status to ask questions. Daniel mentioned that he once got busy in a Burger King bathroom, and you commented that you almost once passed out in a Burger King bathroom.
I did.
Do you want to tell that story, or do you want me to tell it?
You can tell it.
All right, so I know you guys all know that I'm an amazing person, and I'm an amazing husband, and I was even more of an amazing boyfriend when Steph and I were dating. And
quality kind of.
Hey, man, I can
decreased a little bit there, I guess.
I already put a ring on it. What do you want me to say? So, I took Stephanie on a wine tour in Temecula, which is out in California. For any of those who don't know, it's out in San Diego, where I grew up, where we met, and then made the decision to move out here. So we went on this wine tour, and it was going to be several stops. I think it was, 3 wineries, 4 wineries, something like that. Yeah. Then we went on, and it started out so boring. I mean, it was just, everybody was just to themselves on the bus and talking, just to themselves and their people they were with, and it was just
everyone was sober.
Yeah, okay, everybody was sober. We stopped at the first winery. You could actually see people loosened up a little bit after the first stop.
The samples were good.
They were
size.
generous.
Yeah.
And I feel like they got more generous as we went to other wineries.
I know.
And then we went to the second winery, and that's where I think the generous samples kicked in more. Plus, we had lunch, but they were kind of like dinky little lunch. It wasn't like anything huge. So you didn't have a ton of food in your stomach. Let's just fast forward to the fourth. Yeah, it was the fourth winery. The bus turned into, an MTV spring break. I mean, debauchery. Literally people were like grinding on each other, dancing in the aisle of the bus, trying to get everybody to make out with each other. I mean, these are grown adults, people. And
no, there were not grown adults.
Well, technically they were. Emotionally, no. Everybody ended up back at a bar at a hotel that we all met at, like, to start the trip. But before we stayed to have a drink, a goodbye drink with everybody, Stephanie said, well, I'm hungry. I need to get some food because I feel a little tipsy. And Steph's not the biggest drinker. So, which is good because it's always cheap date. So we went to Burger King to get food, which was just about a mile away from the hotel. And I ordered our food. She's like, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go use the bathroom. I kid you not. 10 minutes go by. 15 minutes go by. 20 minutes go by. And I go from thinking, well, literally I go from thinking that she's either got a bad stomach virus or she's fallen in or something. And then I'm like, I hope she's okay. Like, did she fall down and pass out or something? And then here she comes casually strolling out sometime later, and I'm like already done with my food. And I'm like, hey. And she's like, hey. She sits down and starts eating. And I'm like, what happened? And she's like, what do you mean? And I said, dude, you've been gone for like 20 minutes. She's like, are you serious? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, oh, I must have fallen asleep in the bathroom. And I'm like, oh my god, this is like the woman I'm gonna marry. She like passed out in a Burger King.
It was like 2:30 in the afternoon at a Burger King on a Saturday, and I'm like,
you are hammered, dude.
Super toasted.
I was like, I was just barely buzzed, and you were just heezied.
Well, yeah, it caught up with me real bad at the Burger King, and then
because you did not seem drunk.
No, I didn't, and then it caught up really bad, and so when I went to the bathroom and like I sat down, I was like, oh, and it felt like I was only in there for 2 minutes.
Times 10. Do you remember that night, though? Do you remember the rest of it? We went back to the bar, and remember those girls, the 4 girls that we met, and they all turned into like a whole sorority, like just drama central, like everybody was crying, and I'm like, yeah, we're too old for this. We're gonna get out of here. Like we were just in that moment of our I think I had just turned 30, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm too old for this. I'm gonna get out of here.
Yeah.
So it was definitely one of our more interesting moments. We don't have a lot. We're kind of boring like that, but it's okay. I mean, it's probably a good thing though. I don't know if we were able to survive those kinds of like drunken, escapades a lot of couples go through and stuff. We probably
I just don't know that I would want to.
Yeah, no, I mean, we say that now because, we're definitely old now.
I said that back then.
That's true. Well, you were old then, too. But that's okay. I'm an old soul. Well, I think that's all the time we have. So, thanks for joining me.
You're welcome.
Hope you can come back again sometime.
Sure.
Drop me a line or something. Let me know when you're in town.
Could pencil you in.
Pencil me in, yeah. I'm sure we have some funny stories that we could tell. We're not that boring, are we?
Yeah.
Damn. Oh well. Say levy, I guess.
We're pretty boring. I'm disappointed that I don't get like headphones and a microphone too. So I can feel like I'm on the radio.
Well.
Like on NPR.
So you really want to be that boring?
I love NPR.
I know, because you're a nerd.
And their voices are just very comforting.
They're comforting? Literally, it's no personality radio. NPR. No, they have no personality. How are they comforting?
It's National Public Radio.
Yeah, I know what it really is, but it's like, literally, I can't sleep, turn on NPR. Done. Out. I mean, names like Kojo Namdi. And like...
I actually like Kojo.
I don't even know who he is, so...
I like Kojo. His name, I mean, he's kind of an institution here in DC, but I like Kojo. What I've heard of his show, it's like in the middle of the weekday though, so it's hard to catch. But he'll totally like hang up on his callers if they're acting the fool. He's like, we don't have time for this.
Ooh, slow down there, Chief. Okay, so now that we've probably put everybody to sleep again, twice in one, that's got to be a record in a podcast, putting people to sleep.
Enjoy your sleep. Sleep is great.
Just make sure the podcast is still playing so I get credit for it.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you. This has been fantastic, and
You're welcome.
I appreciate you coming on. All right, everybody, no podcast next week because I will be gone in the Big Easy. I'm going to Mardi Gras, people. I'm going to party. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going down there for Dad 2.0 conference, so... And I don't have the technology. Someone buy me a laptop, please. I don't have the technology to take my podcast on the road. Maybe I'll make some videos or something. But until we meet again, have a good one. Tell my dad's out there. Keep it popping.